Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala khatam al-anbiya'i wa mursaleen. Sayyidina Muhammad wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Wa ba'd. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, I begin with the greeting words of paradise. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. And again, we want to bring to you the greetings from your brothers and sisters in the Toronto, Canada area. And in that area, alhamdulillah, there are over 250,000 Muslims now, and the community is growing very rapidly. The recent survey done in Canada and brought to the Parliament showed that today in Canada, 20% of the children born in Canada today are Muslims. 1 in 5. This is a great change because Islam was not known in the north. But through the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the policies of the Canadian government accepting refugees from different parts of the world, our community has expanded greatly in that region. But with expansion, sometimes comes problems in growth. And with a community such as the one that we are blessed with, we are able to look at the problems of Muslims throughout the planet to get the general picture of what is happening to the Muslim world. And it is important today for us here in America, in the West, and even in the Muslim world, that we begin to look at the whole picture, what is happening in the world, and we place ourselves in the proper perspective in this picture. This is very important because there are changes coming about. There are major atmospheric changes coming about. In the next 10 to 20 years, according to what the scientists are predicting, we will see catastrophic changes in the environment. And people are talking about the millennium now. They're talking about the change to the year 2000. For Muslims, it's not really a millennium because this is really 1419 after the Hijrah. So this is not our calendar. Even for the Christians, according to the most authentic sources, Isa alayhi salam was born around 4 BC. So actually the millennium was 1996. But despite this, we can agree upon the fact that in the coming of the year 2000, we may witness an international catastrophe. An apocalypse is very possible. From an environmental point of view, because of what people have done with their hands, the misuse of technology, we have destroyed the ozone layer that protects our planet. And so with the warming of the oceans, you have El Niño. And now La Niña. It's another one in the family. And with the warming of the oceans, you see the environment changing. And Canada was like Miami this year. We had the hottest summer on written record since the Europeans came to this part of the world and they used the system to record weather. It is the hottest summer on record. Also, we recognize the fact that because of the destruction of the rainforests, only 40% of the ancient rainforests still exist on Earth. This is destroying the air that we breathe. And pollution is coming in, and the doctors, many of you are doctors, you recognize the fact that so many allergies are coming about in people. And cancer and different types of diseases are happening within the society. From a social point of view, the families have been destroyed. In Canada, we have what is called, and I believe we have it in America also, still not right. I believe we have it in America also, common law relationships. Common law relationships is when a man and a woman come together without being married under the eyes of the Creator, with no formality. They come together and they form a family. Quebec in Canada has the second highest common law rate on earth. In Canada today, the common law marriages are more common than normal marriages. So what is happening through that is that the family is being destroyed. People are so busy today earning money that we don't have time to put in with the children. Very rarely do we have families where the father and mother sit down and eat the meal together with their children. This is part of the tradition of Islam and also other stable societies where the children have a stable home. This is how the transmission of language came about. The transmission of culture came about. Also, in many cases, especially in the Muslim families, it was one of the ways of the transmission of Islamic knowledge, in that many of the great scholars of Islam trace their knowledge back to their mother and their father. And I said mother too, because many of the scholars, when you look at their transmission, their isnad, it includes women. In many cases, their mother. So the families are being destroyed, which destabilizes the younger generation, and a generation of angry people are growing up. And you hear it in their music, the rap music and heavy metal music, and where they're talking about destruction, murder and violence, bizarre type of things. This is because they're angry. They don't have stability. Also, with the introduction or with the popularization of homosexuality, and I'm going to be very straightforward with you. With the popularization of homosexuality in this society, we have changed the standards of the relationship of men to women. And so, with this happening, which is against the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the natural relationship of men and women, disease is breaking out. Families are destroyed. Other problems are developing. In Canada, the doctors announced there's over 40 incurable diseases, not just the few that we know. And there are other types of diseases breaking out, viruses being unleashed. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, told us in authentic hadith that whenever a people practice sexual immorality, and they do it openly, there will also appear among them diseases and famines that they did not know in the previous generations. ما ظهرت الفاحشة في قوم قط يعمل بها فيهم علانية إلا ظهر فيهم الطاعون والأوجاع التي لم تكن في أسلافهم. طاعون, diseases will come out. This is predicted by the Prophet ﷺ. In an economic sense, we are also at the brink of chaos. Those of you who study the economic systems of the world understand that we are close to a recession. The capitalist system is falling apart. And despite Wall Street, despite the guns and the weapons of America, America has got the greatest debt of any country on earth. Can you imagine this? Everybody in the world wants US dollars, but the American Treasury Department is in more debt than any country in the world. So this interest-based system is only trickery. The raising and falling of interest rates, devaluation of money, it's trickery.